intended to say, which is if Gloucester's working waterfront is going to represent a mix of this maritime economy with the traditional fishing industry, we have to figure out ways of defining what these maritime economy businesses or industries look like. And they're not all industries. Some of them are business, or research, whatever isn't. We have to find ways of figuring out what that looks like and how we want to describe that. So as a recommendation from the Maritime Economy Summit, it's very legitimate to say, looking at the working waterfront uses and revising that list for working waterfront uses.
Let me say this again, Sarah. That is, we had a rule in this report, and James, we were part of this, is that we kept running ahead talking about all kinds of other stuff going forward, and wait, the report should stick with what, it's a report about what was discussed and came out of that summit.
Well, I think the recommendations didn't all come out of the summit, Valerie. I think the recommendation, okay, go ahead. Let James clarify.
One thing about this, Sarah was saying exactly this point. I want to maybe try and rephrase it and see if it,
okay.
But it's increasing the flexibility of any of the regulations on the waterfront area to allow the types of uses that were described at the summit is implied as a result of the summit.
What I'm saying is,
given the local political context, you have to be specific because it's being used.
It's being misused.
It's being misused.
The law needs to write a correction letter.
How is it being misused?
Well, the Gloucester Daily Times front page. This is what I was talking about, right? Because you guys have done a great job with the planning and these things, right? And they're being manipulated because communication is not a core part of the action plan, which is what my question was. Because so what's happened, the Gloucester Daily Times led with DPA, Maritime Summit results in two findings. One, the first is to release DPA or soften DPA regulations. Big, huge header.
And you need to understand there is a huge difference in this city between Sarah's statement that says, analyze, take a look at what the marine industrial uses we want to draw to this city might be, and jumping from Sarah's statement to the report statement, greater flexibility in the industrial types. That's a conclusion. Sarah's statement was an analytical statement of what we need to do. Wait, let me finish, please. So you jump to this conclusion in recommendation, which I don't think was the discussion at the summit, and then our paper takes it and jumps it a whole other step.
And then the bloggers all say,
you have to clarify.
Then they all say that
you have to get mad about that and say, no, that's not what we said.
They said
you allow that.
And they said somewhere in there, there were 3 different reports. Somewhere, and I couldn't, we could all not comment on everything, but somewhere it went from one of about 10 next steps, which was almost a giveaway like regulatory streamlining, to be one of 2. And I don't think it's fair to say that. And unfortunately,
the result of you
guys, it was not the result of the meeting. It's not.
You can't let it be manipulative.
It's being.
There's an old saying we used to tell around at an office I used to work at. It's that you can't fight the press because they have more ink than you.
But where they get their ideas,
be
they're being
clear
fed
about your
something.
meeting.
Yes, and that is
Well,
very well taken. And that's very well taken.
Somebody that was not in the summit and not in the Maritime Board decided that 2 top recommendations were made. The second one was not actually even discussed all that much. Yeah.
They say for the second one.
I don't know who wrote those 2 top
What
ones.
was the
I'm sure
second
it
one?
came from where
I think the report
No,
is,
what was the second one?
the second one is the DPA revision.
Oh,
The first is academic partnerships, and then the newspaper has taken top 2.
No, we're so often in the press, and it's usually confusing.
This
and
should be.
I don't follow this.
It should be corrected.
Yeah, it should be addressed.
It needs to be changed.
Can the mayor actually make a comment in her weekly letter?
We'll find a way. Let us go back and find a way to make that right, because there's no need to have that out there.